interrupt this program to bring you a special news bulletin.
The
Then
and Now Show.
Welcome to the Then and Now Show, where we have a student take on everything from the Beatles to park life. I'm John Thacker.
And I'm Daniel Osakoya.
Today we're looking at all things vintage, videotapes, Victoria sponges and vinyls.
Speaking of vinyls, coming up we'll be talking everything Record Store Day.
So we are in Piccadilly Records. We've been here for about half an hour talking to some punters.
We'll be looking back at the history of music.
Consumers have any say in its demise? Let's ask some of the people who actually make records.
Me and John go head-to-head with the producers in a bake-off challenge.
Yeah, that looks good.
That's good. This is like the second time I've ever cracked an egg. Ever. And we also see me and Daniel venture through Manchester to find the best vintage treasures in our bargain hunt coming up later in the show. Also, make sure you tweet us at the Then and Now Show and let us know any vintage memorabilia that you might treasure or have stuck in your attic collecting dust.
The time is 1 minute past 10 and let's take a trip down memory lane for today's news bulletin.
Today's date is the 21st of April and the year is 1878. It's a historic day for firehouses across the US as New York installs the first of the iconic firehouse poles that will be forever memorialised in TV and film culture. Jumping forward, we land in 1945 and see the Russian army entering the outskirts of Berlin in what could well be the closing stages of the war. Moving on to music news, today was when Elvis Presley had his first hit record when Heartbreak Hotel hit the number one spot on this day in 1956. And finally, in economic news, today marks the anniversary of the £1 coin being introduced and forever making our wallets and purses that bit heavier. That's all for your Then and Now news today. Some pretty iconic events for today's bulletin. I hope you've enjoyed my whistle-stop tour of today's history, and now it's back to Daniel and John in the studio.
Thank you, Matt, for the vintage news. Now, as I said earlier, Record Store Day was at the weekend and it was a very vintage occasion, so we went down to Piccadilly Records.
So we are in Piccadilly Records in Manchester. We've been here for about half an hour and we've seen a real handful of people. People have been here since like 2 a.m. People are just rocking up now, so they're going to be here for a lot longer than the people who've been here since 2 a.m. But there's a real dedication to Record Store Day, I feel. Like people have been really positive about it, and there's a lot of collectors coming in for like really individual special releases, and people are just kind of trying to get any record really. So I think it's going to be an interesting day, and it's a good thing for the industry, I think, as well. So yeah.
A lot of people may not really know what Record Store Day is or what it means, but over the past 10 years or so, a focus has been created, admittedly at first from the other side of the Atlantic, to go and support your local independent record store on the third Saturday of April.
So some people have been waiting around the building block since yesterday, around 1 p.m, and they've had sleeping bags and deck chairs and every camping gear out. People have been using deep heat to keep warm. So here's what some of them had to say. So guys, how long have you been waiting outside Piccadilly Records?
Since 3. Since 3 o'clock this morning, so about 5 hours. We've come for one record.
What records have you come for?
Puzzle by Valera. That's the first press.
It focuses on getting more and more people back into vinyls and bringing music lovers together for one special day, as more recently bands, DJs and acts support Record Store Day, not only with exclusive releases but actually playing live in the record stores. So it brings a special feel to the day.
A bit of both really, because it's the boost that they need to keep it going, and people from years ago who used to have collections that sold them are like, oh yeah, well that's great, I can buy another collection and think, oh it's brilliant, I can still get it on record so many years later or whatever it is.
And do you think there should be more done to kind of make the feel of Record Store Day, like getting people more regularly into record stores?
I don't know, I think it depends where you are. Like places like Manchester, it's always got a good support anyway. I mean, last year we did Record Store Day in Bath and it was not as big a thing. I mean, the queue was tiny.
It's become a recent phenomenon, with the popularity of Record Store Day growing more and more each year. The crowds waiting outside record stores tend to get in the queue in the very early hours of the morning. The queue at Piccadilly Records in Manchester started to accumulate the day before Record Store Day. However, more recently, there's been a few criticisms of Record Store Day. There's people that are arguing that stores should be doing more all year round to get people to support their independent stores. And there's been arguments that people wait in these queues to get the very exclusive records, only to put them straight on eBay to make an easy profit, while people who genuinely want the records can easily miss out.
And what are your thoughts on criticisms that Record Store Days are becoming too focused on Record Store Day and not about getting local customers in regularly?
Yeah, well, we were in the queue last year and there's a lot of stuff getting posted on eBay as you're in the queue. I think that's definitely needs to change. There needs to be some sort of, especially the smaller shops, there needs to be some sort of loyalty scheme, I think, to get people in the door. You're always shopping there all year round. I think you should be able to get in the door and buy your vinyl. Instead of getting in, there's loads of dealers in the queue here. So that's a bit annoying. If you're a vinyl lover, definitely.
I mean, I don't know if it's the record stores themselves. I know obviously it's going to generate more interest on a day like this, but I think they try and hold as much together. I know the record's really in touch with sort of the local people, and it's really trying to get people engaged.
So this has been our day in Piccadilly Records. It's good to see so many people turning out and supporting the vinyl scene. And we shall see what the sales are like from this year's Record Store Day. Back to you in the studio.
So as you heard, Record Store Day was back at the weekend. Me, Daniel and Harrison went down. I was really surprised by how many people were there.
Yeah, way more than we expected.
There was literally queues round the building. People were waiting from the day before just to go to Piccadilly Records, which was crazy. One person we did see there was Connor Miller, a.k.a. Glue70, a producer, a local producer from Rochdale. So why do you think vinyls have come back?
I think part of it's just people want a physical format. I think with MP3s and the digital revolution, it's kind of got to a point where people just want to go back to that old school thing of having something to actually hold.
It's different, like holding something in your hand. It's like a collectible. Is it a bit of nostalgia, maybe?
I think that's a part of it, but I think it's also the fact that you've got, artwork and it's...
Yeah, so what did you end up getting from Piccadilly Records?
I ended up getting a record from a hip-hop artist called Sun Ra.
Oh, cool.
So...
The buzz there was really crazy. There was the amount of people there.
Yeah, I mean there were people queuing from the early morning, the day before the record store actually opened. So obviously you've got a lot of vinyl enthusiasm in Manchester, and I think you're slowly seeing an increase in vinyl sales in Manchester, and record shops are on the increase, and I think the demand is only going to get higher, really.
Yeah, so as a producer yourself, the internet and downloads have all made it so much easier to make and distribute music. So what do you think about that? Having downloads as a format?
I think it's really good because it just allows, sort of, like you said, anybody can, anybody with any sense of creativity or anybody who's a musical person can just really easily get into music and just tap into the thing of getting music out to the community, getting your stuff out there.
Thanks, Connor.
Thank you for the creativity point. Now, speaking of that, Matt and Harrison took a trip down memory lane and went into the history of music.
We're back in 1982. The compact disc has just been released, and we're unsure how this will affect vinyl.
We've got a new thing called MTV, and here's what they say about it.
So, is vinyl dead? And if so, do consumers have any say in its demise? Let's ask some of the people who actually make records.
CDs are they're just too high-tech and they're not cool. Like records are. You look at the record, you flip it over. Like CDs got to open it up and get the thing out, and they're just dumb. They're too high-tech.
CD may be the better quality, but I still agree with that guy. Vinyl is the cooler way to listen to music.
So we've come forward to the 1990s to look at how vinyl is coping. Sales are dropping, but there's still a market amongst fans. Moving on 5 years, and we've seen the arrival of the MP3 player. This has made music a much more personal experience, with people using headphones to listen. Harrison!
Oh, sorry, Matt. And now we're at the mid-noughties, and it looks like vinyl is finally on its last legs, contributing only 0.1% of UK album sales.
Boom. That's iPod. I happen to have one right here in my pocket, matter of fact.
And with that boom, Apple entered the MP3 market and expanded the landscape.
We're in the late 2000s now, and music has moved online, with the likes of YouTube and Spotify changing ownership of music forever. Also, there's this new format called vinyl making waves.
Wait a minute, Matt. We know vinyl. That's how we started this road trip through the history of music.
Oh yeah, I remember now. I thought that died off ages ago.
Yeah, but it's becoming popular again. In 2014, sales of vinyl reached over 1 million copies, which is the highest in 10 years.
Perhaps that means it's coming back. We'll have to see what happens.
Back to you in 2015 and the studio.
That was Matt and Harrison with the history of music. We'll be back after this short break.
Have you noticed a lack of music stores in your area? When was the last time you bought a CD from an independent store? Don't remember? Neither do millions of others. Please help and buy from your local record stores today.
Working 9 to 5. You got the 9 to 5, but baby, so do I.
There.
Then
and
now
show. You are listening to the Then and Now show. The time is 10:10. Now, me and Daniel searched through Manchester for the best vintage bargain. Both of us with only £10. Here is how Daniel got on.
Okay, so I'm here at my first stop on the bargain hunt, and I'm in Cow. Me and John each have £10, and we are looking for a bargain on vintage stuff. Got some Adidas jackets over here. Got a red one. Let's check the price tag on this one. £40. Everything's too much. Need to keep looking. I'm gonna keep looking for something else.
So what are you looking for?
I'm into shoes and jackets.
There's also the £5 sale reel.
Okay, so I've been directed over to the £5 sale reel. I found a long sleeve t-shirt that I could possibly wear. Yes, it is my size. I have one item. That's my £5 bargain that I found from Cow. I'm gonna move on to the next store. Okay, so my next stop is Forbidden Planet. It's a comic book store, kind of like the one from Big Bang Theory. That's what it reminds me of. As soon as I've walked in, I've seen something. It's a DC comic mint in box action figure. I'm gonna keep an eye on that, but across the room I have seen Pokemon, so let's go over there and check that out. I'm over here at the Pokemon section and I can see some Pikachu stuff. It's all very expensive though, it's just outside of my budget. I think I'm gonna go with the Black Adam just because it seems I can get more for my money. So that's $4.99 for that as well. So I have 1p left, and that is me out of the bargain hunt. So that's how I got on. Wait until later and we'll find out how John got on and how he did finding a bargain better than mine, but he didn't. But before that, John spoke to his dad about his most treasured memorabilia.
Through the years, I've seen tons and tons of stuff in my house, and I have no idea where it came from, what it's doing there, or what it is. So today, my dad is going to take me through some of his vintage memorabilia. You would not believe the amount of junk that is in my house from years and years ago. So I'm excited to find out where it's from. Alright, so my dad is showing me around his guitars, because he used to be in a band, so he's got loads of music stuff, and we're looking at an electric guitar, am I right?
A cherry red Gibson SG Standard 1973 model. I used it in a group in the 1970s, a 4-band group. I was a rhythm player, occasionally a lead, and I paid approximately about £248 for it in 1973. But I believe it's worth over £1,500 now.
Alright, so talking about vinyls and records and stuff a minute ago, what's your opinion on the difference between records and digital CDs?
I think you get a better sound from the original records on vinyl. You get a much softer, mellow tone to it.
So I've had a really good time looking through all the vintage memorabilia in my house. There is so much stuff, it's unreal. But I found it really interesting to see the different stories that come behind each thing. It's crazy to think that each thing in your house has a story to it. Like I said, it was really interesting just hearing what different memorabilia my dad have. If you have any vintage stuff, remember you can tweet us at the Then and Now Show. Now, Daniel, what is your most treasured vintage item? Do you have any records or old clothes tucked away?
I wasn't really a clothes person when I was younger, but I'm really into games, so...
I think back in the day I had my Super Nintendo. That was my old game.
I remember us talking about it. I'm a really big Nintendo fan. Can I tell you a story?
Tell away.
So I think it was about my 16th birthday, and my cousin at the time, she was living in Japan. And obviously I'm a big Nintendo fan, and that's where Japan stemmed from. So she sent me over a birthday present, and it was a huge box. It had 2 tiers in it. First tier was like sweets. Then the second tier, it was a Nintendo DS, a white pill. Yeah, it had Mario Kart in there, Super Mario Bros, and Zelda games.
Now, talking of Daniel's love of Zelda, here is his top 5 vintage games.
Before all the ludicrous spin-off films, we were introduced to Resident Evil when it first arrived on PS1 in 1996. That's 2 years after I was born. Not to worry though, the good people at Sony have remastered it for us on PS4 in 2015. Hold tight folks, that zombie behind you just became even realer. From the age of 6, your biggest life decision was probably which Pokeball to choose as you delved into the Pokemon world. Ash Ketchum was our hero, and the never-ending green grass was our nemesis. I suppose if we look at it now, I guess it was like getting stuck in traffic. Maybe games aren't so far off real life. Years before our generation knew about botched pipe jobs and leaky ceilings, our favourite plumbers were Mario and his brother Luigi. Super Mario Bros. To this day is still one of, if not the most popular Nintendo game. With the recent addition of Super Smash Bros. On Wii U, the franchise just keeps going. What's that? Mario, no mushrooms on the job. In 2001, the creators at Bungie took the plunge and jumped into the first-person shooter scene with Halo. Weaponized and ready, we follow the story of Master Chief, shooting, traveling the galaxy, and that's just in single-player mode. With Halo 5 recently announced for an October release, it's time for us to dig out the old games and get practicing. The Legend of Zelda. A confusing title for many, but for the rest of us, a magical adventure through the kingdom of Hyrule. Playing as Link, we ride horses, collect items as we become a legend, and solve puzzles, which sometimes even involves chasing cats. I've played nearly every game, and there's been 18 of them in total. The latest is due for release this year. As a die-hard fan, you can count on me to purchase it. So, earlier on, you heard on how I got on in part 1 of the bargain hunt. Now, let's hear John's attempt at trying to find a better bargain.
My bargain hunt skills are top of the range.
Whoa, hold your horses. Let's just take a listen.
So, I'm at my first place. I'm at the Vinyl Exchange. There's lots and lots and lots of records and old CDs for like £1, £2, so I'm sure that I'll find something. I'm not sure who a lot of these people are. I mean, we've got Iggy Pop, we've got some old Beatles stuff I'm sure my dad would love. There's a lot of metal and punk, which isn't really my kind of thing, so I'm going to stroll down to the indie alternative. We've got some more new stuff, we've got some stuff from like Warpaint, their new album on record, which is really cool. But then I think I'm going to go for is this Icelandic singer called Jonsi. And he's really awesome, and it's a vinyl of his EP, and it's only a £5, and I think this is going to be worth something. So this is my first choice, Jonsi's EP. So the next place I have stumbled into is Oklahoma. We've got lots of different furniture items and stuff. Okay, this is the best thing ever. A back scratcher. $4.99 as well. Maybe this is the thing. Oh, this silly string. Silly string, so cool. I've always wanted silly string. So now I've got a dilemma. Should I get the silly string or the back scratcher? Alright, after much deliberation, I've decided on the back scratcher. That means I've got my 2 items, and I'm sure that my items will be worth more than Daniel's in the final auction.
So, that was John attempting to best me in the bargain hunt.
Here we have Connor and Esther here to help us decide the winner of the vintage bargain hunt. Okay, so how much do you guys know about vintage memorabilia?
I know very little, to be honest. I know there's quite a lot of vintage shops in Manchester. You know, you got Cow Vintage and a few others. They're all along the northern quarter mostly, and that's about the extent of my knowledge.
I'm quite a big vintage shopper.
Oh, okay. We got the expert here.
Yeah.
We have the expert.
Right, we're going to
Let's start with Daniel.
Yes. I'm holding up my Black Adam mint in box. Tell me, how much would you pay for it?
I really don't know much about comics. I feel like this is my
Pay,
downfall.
me personally, I would pay nothing for it because I'm not really interested in comics. But if I had to guess a price,
I like these guys. I like these guys.
At least I'm being honest.
My boyfriend was number 1 in the world at Pokemon. I feel like I'm really letting him down.
I'm going to guess £10.
I'm going to guess £6.50.
Okay.
That's an
Very
exact,
specific.
a very
It was
exact
in fact
price.
$4.99.
Oh, okay. Now
John.
for the award-winning vintage prize, a back scratcher, a classic back scratcher.
Is it like antique?
Is it an official back scratcher?
I think it's from old times back in the day. I got it from an old shop, so I think that counts as vintage enough.
Is it from the original creator of the original back scratcher, the official?
Yeah, like TM.
Maybe.
Maybe. Wait, the gentleman's back scratcher.
Oh,
so how
this
much
changes everything.
Changes everything.
How much would you pay?
How much would you pay for this?
I'm going to say £7.99.
I would say £2.50.
Esther, I'm disappointed.
So sorry.
So obviously Daniel had more expensive bargains.
I am the winner, clearly. Well, thank you, Connor, and thank you, Esther, for joining us in the studio.
Thank you.
Thank you.
A New Hope. It's been 10 years since the Empire was taken down. Darth Sidious has fallen. But this year, the Force is back this December. Make sure you relive the first 6 films in the Saga box set from all good local retailers.
You must feel the Force around you.
Working 9 to 5. You got the 9 to 5, but baby, so do I.
There.
Then
and now show.
Now, recently, tea rooms have come back in fashion and appear to be a hotspot for students.
Me and Daniel decided to go along with the crowd and visit one of Manchester's most popular tea rooms. We're here at the Richmond Tea Rooms. You ready to go in, Daniel?
I'm ready, let's go.
I'm raring to go.
Good morning, welcome to Richmond Tea Rooms.
So we've just arrived at Richmond Tea Room. We've just got our seat in the corner, which I think it looks nice.
I agree. It's nice, it's decorative.
And there is an overwhelming range of tea, what me and Daniel are deciding from. Should we get the loose leaf tea or the special blend tea?
I say we go with red berries.
Red berry tea?
Yeah, a fruitful blend.
Oh, I don't think that's a good
A fruit blend consisting.
An orange peel? No, we're not doing red berries.
Ah, come on, John.
Chamomile.
Red berry and rosebud.
No, I don't like the idea of fruit in a tea.
Why? That's the joy of it.
What about cinnamon tea?
No.
Or vanilla chai?
Okay, we'll go with vanilla chai. Vanilla chai?
I think that's a good call. Let's do it.
Right, what can I get you guys?
Can we have the vanilla chai pot for 2?
Vanilla chai.
And then can I also have a lemon drizzle cake as well?
Okay, thanks a lot, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you. So our tea has arrived. Oh, this looks quite interesting. Yeah.
There's like little bits floating in it.
Got a nice little
cutlery.
Yeah.
I don't know what this is.
Oh, it's a sieve. It's
Oh,
a
we have
sieve.
to
So
sieve the tea.
we have sieves. So you pour the tea into the cup. See?
Do you want some?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, I think it's your turn now to take the leap of faith.
I think it needs more sugar. I like
sugar.
I like the vanilla taste. It's quite nice.
It's like a behind aftertaste, isn't it? I'm gonna get another sugar too. So what are your thoughts of the decorations and everything, Daniel?
I think it's quite old-fashioned. It is very vintage.
There's a lot of vintage, like Winnie the Pooh, like an old book there, or like.
There is a. What is that? Is that Alice in Wonderland? Yeah. There's an Alice in Wonderland picture right behind us.
I feel like there's a recurring theme of Alice in Wonderland everywhere, though.
Hello, John. Just sitting in the tea room, spot of tea, on a lovely Monday morning.
You can't beat a spot of tea on a Monday morning, Daniel.
Always the best way to start the day, John.
Splendid. Truly splendid. Okay, so we've had a wonderful, wonderful morning at the Richmond Tea Room. Would you not agree, Daniel?
I definitely would agree. The tea was excellent and the scenery was amazing.
I'm perfectly happy with our visit.
Yep. Well, that's it for us. So, John, on a scale of 1 to 10, how would you rate your experience?
Okay, I would have given it a higher grade, but as you heard, I did order a lemon drizzle cake.
We heard it.
It's on tape.
Yep.
And it never arrived. It's never arrived. As you know, I was heartbroken because I love a lemon drizzle cake. Who doesn't? So obviously, I've got to mark it down for that. So I'm going to say 7.5, maybe.
I'd have to go with the same because I just don't know how long you can drink tea for. But it was a really
You were anxious.
Nice place.
You were pretty anxious to leave. I was just
Yeah,
enjoying the atmosphere, sipping my vanilla chai.
Drinking tea for an hour. I mean, it's a bit long, but I mean, the environment was really nice. There was a lot of students.
I was
there.
really surprised by the amount of students.
Yeah,
like as we were walking out, there was tons of groups of like our age boys coming in to drink tea.
I thought it'd be just old people, but you know, it wasn't. It was young people as well.
The decorations were really nice as well.
Yeah.
Like there was a great Alice in Wonderland theme going on.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, loads of pictures, drapes, really authentic, vintage stuff. Now, as we heard, John is feeling a bit sad because he didn't get his lemon drizzle cake.
I am.
So we looked through some legendary cake recipes.
We are about to start the baking challenge. We have Team 1.
AKA Team Betty Crocker.
We are the presenters, also known as
Team Kipling.
And we're going to be making a Victoria sponge, well, 2 Victoria sponges, and comparing to see how they end up. So
Me and Daniel are raring to go. Kipling, Crocker. I think Kipling's just a bit higher.
I don't know, you know. Even if it turns flat, we'll be happy.
We won't, because we only want perfection. So you can be satisfied with that. Both teams have 30 minutes, so go!
Go. Is it tablespoons or teaspoons? Tablespoons.
All right, John, next up,
Okay.
eggs into the bowl.
Okay, I'm not an expert on cracking eggs.
No eggshell in there though.
No eggshell? No, I don't think so. I think that's alright. Do you have a look, Daniel?
Yeah, that was good.
That's good. This is like the second time I've ever cracked an egg. Ever!
Good whisking, Matt. Good whisking. I think that's a bit stronger than John's whisking personally, but
we're way ahead of the producers.
Something smelling bad.
10 minutes in, guys.
Doesn't look like Matt's putting enough energy into it though.
I put more energy in than you were.
He needs the manpower of what the presenters have.
we're ready to go. On to the presenters.
Textures.
Look at that.
Amazing.
That looks fantastic.
It's just flowing into the tin.
Pouring in.
It's good. Got to give it credit when it's due. It looks good consistency, but you know, I hope it gets burnt.
Unfortunately for Harrison, neither of them burnt, but I was pretty proud by how our cake turned out.
Should have been burned.
No,
A little bit sabotage between the teams, but you know.
Ours turned out great. We've got icing on ours. You've not got so much icing.
Yeah, but you made such a mess.
Yeah,
I
was cleaning my kitchen for
shows our
days.
passion.
I think I found flour like on the floor like days after.
Yeah,
Like, how was that there?
Whose cake was spilling over the sides?
That was yours. If I
Yours,
remember
the icing,
correctly.
if I remember. Yours is the one that's iced.
Well, we're looking at it now. That's pretty good.
Exactly.
Yeah,
That's
we
pretty
decided
good.
against the icing. We wanted to keep
Yeah.
it fresh and look,
A
so you can
classic-
see
a
the
classic look as well.
a little bit of black on there as
Well,
well.
looks
A
like
little bit of black.
Love a good
Don't
crunch.
say
I
that.
love it. I like a
As
good
in
crunch in
zero
my.
black. As we opened the oven, you oohed and made yummy noises. I think that proves that we
That was
win.
ours.
We were just hungry. I'm going to be honest. I was just hungry.
Just
Well.
any cake.
Taste is everything that's got to do with cakes. So here with us now, we have Jack to judge the winning cake.
Hello.
So what have you coming up on your show later?
Well, later on the show, we've got underrated superheroes. Which superheroes are underrated? Which ones deserve their own spin-off or film? We have an exclusive interview with David Boyle. He runs the Exhibition of the Universe in Blackpool. He'll be talking about conspiracy theories and how they tie into film. And we have the ultimate quiz between me and David.
Oh, the ultimate quiz.
The ultimate quiz.
Can you give us a little sneak peek?
Sneak peek. We just have superheroes. We've picked superheroes out of a hat. We've been learning them for about a week now, and we just go head to head, and the loser is put through the table.
Oh, okay.
So
dramatic. So, have you given both cakes a try? Sorry,
I have tried both cakes. Yes.
Right. So, who do you think is the winner? And let me just say, we like you.
Oh,
so
thank you. I like you too.
We think that you should make us the winner.
Well, I would say that the cake that I preferred was the one with the icing sugar on top.
Do you know what that means, guys?
That means the presenters are the winner. Producers eat in shame.
You know,
shame.
We had fun. We had fun making
we
our
had
cake.
fun. We tried our best.
We
you know,
were the team.
That's such a loser speech. At least we had fun.
But to be fair, we still control the show. So you know, we win in the end.
It's just the way the cake crumbles now.
Making threats on live on air isn't the way to go, Matt.
It's friendly threats. We're all friends here.
Yeah, well, wait until next time. We might give you a rematch. How does that sound?
Yeah, we'll see. I look forward to it.
Yeah,
It'll be good.
2016 rematch.
Yeah.
See you there.
See you there.
Yeah.
It's on.
Now, the time is 10:29. We hope you've enjoyed your trip down memorabilia lane. I've been Daniel Osakoya.
And I've been John Thacker. Make sure you tune in to the Then and Now show next Tuesday, where we'll be talking about things every student should do this summer.
interrupt this program to bring you a special news bulletin.
The Then
and
Now
show.